are so many undiscovered amazing towns and villages and beaches in the UK because, well, we do have quite a lot of them already. We're going to think about how much coastline we've got. There's absolutely masses of it. And, well, I suppose there's only so much of it we can go and do in every single summer. You've got the fact now, of course, that TikTok and Instagram are also kind of discovering these places for us. So people are finding out a lot more about these places rather than just the typical sort of Bournemouth or Clacton-on-Sea that we used to be able to go to from what we'd read in magazines. One of my favourite things to do is to go to like an underrated or I suppose undiscovered. It's a bit weird calling it undiscovered because someone's been there. Someone's always been there, especially in Britain because there's no stone is unturned, is it? But I love going to sort of the smaller places or the smaller cities because there's less crowds, it's less expensive, but people are genuinely a lot happier to see you there. One of my favourite places last year that I went to was Southampton, and I had the best meal of my whole year there at this tiny Mauritian restaurant. And you know, you go somewhere like London, everywhere has been discovered 50 million times over and there's a massive queue to get in, and if you're not there, the next person along will be there, whereas somewhere like Southampton, off the beaten track, you can really find some sort of like great gems. There are so many places even in the UK which have yet to be discovered by tourists, I suppose. One of the ones that we're talking about quite a lot on the travel desk is Folkestone. Our deputy travel editor Cara, she's just moved there. It's kind of the new Margate, I suppose you'd call it. It's very up and coming with artists, down from Londoners, that kind of thing. So we're expecting seeing a lot more from there as a town to go and visit. I am very excited to be going to Osea Island in Essex next week. It's a tiny little island that lots of celebrities have gone to in the past. Rihanna filmed a music video there, in fact, I think, but you can rent a little cottage there from about £200 a night, and people have parties there, and it's generally just quite untouched and like going back to the 1950s from all accounts. As was Elmley Nature Reserve in Sheppey, on the Isle of Sheppey in Kent, that I went to a few weeks ago. Absolutely incredible. It's just acres and acres of wetlands on the edge of the Thames estuary, and it felt completely like we were in the middle of nowhere. And in actual fact, it was just an hour away from London. So the fact that those places are so close to our capital and still pretty much undiscovered just goes to show how much you would probably find if you went somewhere on the northeast coast, for example, where there's amazing seaside towns which are largely left untouched since the 1950s. The same goes for Europe as well. I mean, it's a massive continent, so there's going to be loads of places. Huge interest at the moment in Eastern Europe. Obviously, the likes of Albania has incredible beaches and general sort of culture, nature that not really has been visited much or covered much by British holidaymakers. But even saying that, you know, there's so many places in somewhere like Spain which has millions and millions of us going every single year. You go slightly inland and there's just like incredible mountain villages where you can get amazing food where you probably would get very few tourists any given summer. Certain destinations like Hull have an unfair reputation for being uncool because Hull has got some incredible beaches nearby. It's got the best fish and chip shop in the UK nearby. It's got an amazing history, maritime history. If you went to Hull, you'd have a brilliant weekend. I've heard that they've got some incredible pubs there as well. These places that have those kind of reputations, I think that's from people who've possibly not even been there, but you will nearly always find enough to entertain you no matter what city or town you go to in the UK.